Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable the Chief Justice, Honorable Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Moses Wetangula, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable the Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to adopt the protocol that has already been laid. Good morning. It's a great privilege for me to welcome you, Your Excellency, and all our special guests this morning to the judiciary. We are extremely grateful that you found time to join us this morning to witness the presentation of the 2021-2022 edition of the annual State of the Judiciary and the Administration of Justice report, or SOJA as we call it. We are grateful to see so many of our partners returning to the launch of yet another edition of our annual report. I'm also elated to see quite a number of new faces as we forge new relationships with other organizations that share in our commitment to expand access to justice to the people of Kenya. I'm particularly honored to have Your Excellency, the President, as our chief guest. This is not the first time you're honoring us with your presence for this function, and we do not take it for granted. We are also very grateful for the support that your government has accorded to the judiciary so far, and we are confident that when we return here next year for the presentation of the 12th edition of this report, we and the people of Kenya will have a lot more to celebrate. Let me also thank, in a very special way, the legislature represented here by the Honorable Speaker. You've supported us with the resources that have enabled us to discharge our mandate, and you've always honored our invitation to this annual event. All the previous speakers have been part of this, and we do not take that for granted either. Today, the Chief Justice is here to present the 11th edition of SOJA, alongside the representatives of judges, judicial officers, and staff who worked tirelessly during the reporting period to ensure the highest standards of service delivery for the people of Kenya. Your Excellency, allow me just a few moments to recognize the members of the Judicial Service Commission. I'll just ask that you rise and wave. Judicial Service Commission members, thank you very much. I want to acknowledge in a special way judges of the Supreme Court. Thank you very much for being here, for all the work that you've done. Judges of the Court of Appeal, led by the President of the Court, Honorable Justice Musinga, and your judges, thank you very much. We acknowledge you. Judges of the High Court and Courts of Equal Status, together with their presiding and principal judges, just rise and let's acknowledge you. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. Thank you so much for the results that you've posted. We also have registrars who support my office to facilitate the various courts. Our registrars, Court of Appeal, Registrar, High Court, Registrar Magistrates Court, Registrar Small Claims Courts, Registrar Courts of Equal Status. Thank you very much for the work that you do. We have heads of stations, we have magistrates, we have directors who support, who provide administrative support for the judicial work. We have staff here, also represented by the Kenya Judicial Staff Association. And finally, I want in a special way to acknowledge the members of the Soja Preparatory Committee that put together this report. Members of the committee, are you here? Please stand up so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you very much, Madam Washuka, for leading the team. They are all at the back there. We do not take for granted the work that you have put in. Your Excellency, the stability and economic development of a nation turns on the fulcrum of the rule of law. And the rule of law operates best when the three coordinate branches of government work in symphony and not in conflict or conspiracy. It is for this reason that we've always proclaimed as our operative policy the principle of robust independence and constructive interdependence. It is our commitment to the rule of law that has seen the judiciary in the last 12 years painstakingly work on its transformation agenda that has continued to secure its independence. I'm glad that the second limb of that independence, the financial autonomy, has finally been achieved by the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund, which took effect on 1st July 2022. And that is something for us to celebrate as a judiciary. I want to thank the Honorable the Chief Justice. I want to acknowledge the role of the former Chief Justices, the Judicial Service Commission, the Legislature, the Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya, the National Treasury, and the Controller of Budget for their respective roles in making this possible. May I also acknowledge our technical committee led by the Honorable the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Mr. Paul Ndemo, for giving this process its final push. We are currently experiencing the normal teething problems as we operationalize the fund, but we believe that this will be ironed out in due course. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I want to say which is quite significant in Kenya's democratic outlook, and this is a peaceful and orderly transition of power in all the three arms of government. Here in the judiciary, we are launching the 11th Soja under the 3rd Chief Justice. We note that similar but fewer transitions of power have occurred in the executive and the legislature as well. We do not take these developments for granted, but build on them as we endeavor to create an inclusive, responsive, and effective government for the welfare of the people of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, the milestones recorded in the report that is before us is a product of collective efforts from the diverse internal stakeholders whom I've just introduced, and mine therefore is to thank all the individuals and organizations who have contributed in one way or other to work with the judiciary over the past year, including all the justice agencies, civil society, and the media as well. Let me also acknowledge our development partners who have always worked with us. They have offered us resources where we've had gaps, and they've also offered us technical support to make sure that we achieve what we're here for. Your presence here today continues to be a great source of encouragement and hope for us. We will continue with this constructive engagement with each and every one of you with a view to securing the justice needs of this nation. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for being here. Karibuni sana, and may God bless us all.